This is the video we're going to investigate solving by substitution, which is one of the more intuitive ways of solving our systems of equations. So we have a circle up here. We have the x squared plus the y squared equals the radius squared. So we're going to have a circle on the graph. Again, our graphing calculator, it's a little bit difficult to find out how to get that circle. So we're kind of stuck when we go to graph that. One of the next ways I'm going to turn to is I'm going to actually solve for one of the variables. So I could solve for y here by subtracting x squared and then taking the square root of both sides, and then I'll have y equals and y equals. So I can use the transitive property to set them equal to each other. However, I'm going to say it's a little bit more intuitive to take this variable that's already solved for and just replace it in there. Rewrite your equation so that now we have our x squared plus, and then we're going to replace y squared with the negative x plus 4 equaling 16. X squared and y squared. And again, this is y. Right here, this is y still. It's just an equivalent value for y, so when we replace y, we're not going to change anything. And now if you'll take a look at this equation, that's something you can solve. You have x as your only variable, and you have an equal sign. So now, if I go to solve this, this is where maybe some of us are going to struggle, understanding that when we square this out, it's actually the distributive property, not with the exponent, but with the multiplication. So we end up with x squared minus 8x plus 16 equaling 16. Bring the x squared down, and you get x squared plus another x squared for a total of 2x squareds. Once you have this quadratic equation, you can go ahead and solve it. You combine your x squareds, subtract 16 from both sides, and you'll have a nice, neat quadratic equation of 2x squared minus 8x equaling 0. Go ahead and find your 2x solutions. I'm going to divide by 2 and then divide by x, factor out an x. We get x, or 2x times x minus 4. Once we have our factors equal to 0, I can use the zero product property to find my two x's. First one being x equals 0. And the next one being x equals 4. Again, additive inverse to create 0 times whatever equaling 0. Once I have my two solutions, I'm going to substitute them back into the original equation. So I'm going to take 0 and I'm going to plug it in for x, and I get y equals, when x is 0, y is 0 plus 4, which is 4. And when I plug in 4, I get negative 4 plus 4 is 0 as my two solutions. Again, solving by substitution is a really intuitive way to find an answer. If you have one of the variables solved for, just replace the other variable. You don't always have to use the transitive property where you get y equals on both sides and set them equal to each other. That's an effective way as well. It's just that probably would have been a little bit more work than just kind of plopping it in there and solving.